upset, and then after you swim a show, you really do feel better.
Whenever I see any of these girls swim, I cry. They're so beautiful.
It takes a unique personality to come here, and then you just become such a part of it that it never goes away.
Well, I originally worked here as a lifeguard over at Buccaneer Bay, and I saw in the newspaper that they were having auditions. So I decided to go out for it, and I thought, well, if my mom could do it, it can't be that hard, right?
I first saw my daughter take the air hose and toss it over to the right hand without a mask.
I panic.
And the first time she did deep dive, and she held her breath so long, I told her, I said, don't ever do that again.
And we know what your mother thinks, because she's just proud as can be of you. So.
She's adorable.
Oh.
It was a very simple time. It was very slow compared to what it was in later times, compared to even what it is today. The grounds were pristine. The spring was pristine. And there were no costumes. If there was a costume, it's because we glued something on our bathing suits. But basically, it was just we wore just a basic bathing suit. And we dove into the water from the top of the theater, which only seated maybe 75 people. It was not the theater that you see today. There was no music piped into the spring. All we heard were our air bubbles. There was no announcer. They couldn't speak. Just across the spring where you see the castle today, there's a plexiglass dome in there. Well, that was there when I swam. And there's a metal platform. When we stood on the platform, we were waist down in water and waist up in air, but there was no loudspeaker in there, so we couldn't hear anything. And then the big time came in the 60s, and let me say briefly that I was here through that when ABC Paramount took over the spring, bought it out, whatever. They brought in the costumes and the choreography and they started adding things in the spring, more air hoses and props. I was there through all that. I was there when they pulled out my little 75-seated theater and moved it and started putting in this huge $1 million theater, which back in 1960 was a lot of money. And it seats about close to 500 now. And I was the one that cut the ribbon for the new theater.
Here come all these questions, and then I've got a chance to travel and go different places. I just got to go to London.
We're all over. We're from like they saw us in London, and they have our calendars, so the little girls see our faces all the time.
We do mermaid camp, so a couple times I did mermaid camp when it started, and a lot of the young girls, they make you little photo albums of the pictures they had, and just write you thank you letters, and you're just, it makes you feel good because you don't realize how, the younger kids just really believe in you and like really love mermaids.
My mom, she has, every time she comes, she always takes at least 500 pictures. She has her huge big camera. Everybody thinks she's a newspaper. She's like, no, my daughter's just a mermaid, and she's buying jewelry and going to the festivals with me, and she's all like, oh, my daughter's the mermaid. I'm like, Mom, so come on.
At mermaid reunions, like I said, women start tearing if they get up and speak about however short their life was here. And you figure some of them were 1947, 1950, and all these years later, they're still crying about this park.
Impacted their lives so
Yes,
much.
it does. It's just an incredible experience. When I'm out there, and a couple of them were like, oh, thank you, God, this time, space, reality, that I get to be a mermaid.
It's an experience that you don't get anywhere else. I've heard professional football players and sports guys talk about how when they leave the game, what they miss most is the locker room and their friends and This is a sisterhood that you get nowhere else.
I mean, even the older girls and the younger girls, we just all have a great bond together.
But definitely mentors. We definitely look up to them.
You know, Barbara's saying is,
once a mermaid, always a mermaid. But what she's saying is true. Like myself, there was no other course for me in life but to be a mermaid.
All of us, bar none, every one of us, since we left, have had dreams about Weeki Wachee. You dream that you're late for a show, or you forgot part of your costume, or you didn't have your mask, or you dream these things, or you're in the water and you're scared or whatever. And absolutely every one of us that are currently swimming as former mermaids don't dream it anymore, because we're doing it.
Oh.
We're living the dream. We are living our dream. How do we get in there? We live our dream.
That's beautiful.
And it's more emotion than you can ever imagine.
I love my mother. I really do. Sometimes it's like having your mom at work. Like, Mom, you need to do this, or Mom, leave me alone, or Mom, I don't want my picture taken right now. I just got out of the water. I don't have any makeup on. That sort of thing. But it's got its ups and its downs. It brought us closer together as mother-daughter. That's for sure.
Very cool.
Through the angsty teenage years to being like best friends, maybe even sisters. I'd say sisters because,
Right.
you're with a sister, you can get annoyed at your sister. You can't get annoyed at your best friend.